What's up YouTube, it's Pico.Blurred back again with another video. I want to talk about the new tool that I got that I showed you guys in a previous video. I didn't have a video up on it, so I'm making this video so I can show you guys. But we're going to be talking about my new gimbal. This gimbal is the Hohem Isteady M6. And man, it's crazy. It's crazy. There's a reason I went with this one. I showed you guys my previous gimbal. It was more on the cheaper side. This one costs about $156, but it has all kinds of features and like bells and whistles and everything, and it's just, oh, it's awesome. I just want to show you guys all that comes with it. So without further ado, let's get into some of the details on this gimbal. So to start off, this gimbal is a 3-axis gimbal. That means it has 3 different motors controlling different angles of this. So they have a pan follow motor, they have a tilt motor, and then they have a roll motor on the other side. And so what's special about this one especially is the capacity that can carry. So my other gimbal was rated at about, I want to say 150, 180 grams, I think. This one can hold about 420 grams. So it can hold your phone, it can hold your case with your phone, it can hold different attachments that you want to put on this. Say for example, you want a whole rig, you can rig this thing up like crazy. And the cool thing about this too is they actually have rivets that you can mount certain stuff. So say you want an extra fill light, you can mount it on there. Say you want a mic, you can mount it on there. And they have different mounting points also. So they have this mounting point on the side. They actually have a mounting point up top, which is crazy. They have a mounting point on this side. And then as always, they have a mounting point at the bottom if you take off this little tripod that I put on there. So that's kind of like a little bit about this gimbal. Now you guys see this up here, I'm gonna get to that in a little bit because that's one of the reasons I went ahead and got this model versus like say the DJI Osmo and the Zhuin one. I don't remember what that one's called, but yeah, there's a reason I went with the Hohem Isteady M6. But let's go ahead and talk about this also. So what we got here is actually a wireless microphone, and you can get different attachments, like different plug-in styles. So I went with the Lightning since I'm using an iPhone. So I got my Lightning import right here. You just plug that into your phone, and then this syncs up Bluetooth. So then you could use the microphone and it goes directly to your camera. So as you're recording, it picks up everything. And they even have like a little like noise deafening thing. You know how they on microphones to stop like wind resistance and stuff, they have like boom mic cover kind of things. That's what this is for. This thing actually has different modes on it. So they have a standard mode, they have a noise canceling mode, and then they have a stronger noise canceling mode. It even has a reverb mode. I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in so you guys can hear the different recording modes as I put them on. Also, it does come with USB-C to USB-C and a Lightning to USB-C. So for example, if you want to charge your phone while using this and you have an iPhone, there's a little import on the bottom of this right here. You just plug in your USB-C, and then you have the other end that goes into your iPhone. But if you have the microphone on, the microphone actually has a USB-C on the end. So that's what this USB to USB-C is. So if you want to charge with the microphone attached, you just plug this in to this little arm right here where the USB-C port is, and then you plug it into the microphone. And that's how you can charge it with the microphone on. So let me go ahead and get this microphone rigged up, and then I'll show you the different noises. All right, y'all, so I have it in normal mode. You can tell by the blue light, that's gonna be normal mode, no noise canceling. So this is what it sounds like with the microphone on this mode. Let me go ahead and change it to noise canceling mode. When it's in noise canceling mode, you'll see that it's green. That's just standard noise canceling, and then they have a stronger mode. So I'll go ahead and click that again. Now it's in orange. That's going to be your strongest noise canceling mode. And then if you double tap the mode button, it's a reverb mode. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back in normal mode, and I'm going to double tap. You'll see it blinking. That means that it's in reverb mode. So you guys can hear my voice in reverb. I'm not really sure what this is for, but it's kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. I'll go ahead and put it on noise cancel mode. And the cool thing about this also is that the on switch, if you just one tap that button, it'll actually start the recording for you. So it's kind of like a wireless remote. You don't have to actually go to your phone and click the record button. You can just do it with this, which is pretty nice. But let's get back into the features of this gimbal. So you'll see I told you that it is a 3-axis gimbal. That means that there's 3 different motors controlling the gimbal. So, and there, of course, is going to come with different modes. Right now, I have it in pan follow mode, and that just means that if I'm using it, I can turn it left and right, but the tilt is fixed. So it's not gonna, the phone isn't gonna move. It's gonna stay locked in place so you can get some good cinematic shots, especially if you're doing product reviews. If you get new products and you want to really enhance your videos for different company like products, that's a great way to get some good video, because everything is going to be super steady. It's just going to look super clean and super professional. When you're recording product stuff with just your phone in your hands, sometimes it can be a bit shaky and it just won't look professional. But if you get yourself a good, and you don't have to spend this amount of money on a gimbal. I got this because I love recording different shots outside, different cinematic stuffs, and I like my videos to be super clear. But you don't have to get you a super expensive gimbal. You can get you a cheaper gimbal and it'll be just fine for you. But you do want to make sure you get a good gimbal so you can get those super crisp shots, and it's not going to be, your phone's not going to be jiggling around all the time. It's going to be super clean. So that is your pan follow mode. Let's go ahead and click another mode. You got pan tilt follow. So if I'm holding it, it'll pan left and right, and if I move it up and down, the phone is going to follow up and down. Now it won't roll though, so that's pan tilt follow. The roll axis is locked. Go ahead and click lock. When it's in L mode, lock mode, it's going to lock all of the motors. So no matter where you move your gimbal, it's not going to follow. And then POV mode. POV mode is going to allow all of your axes to move. So anywhere you point the phone, it's going to follow. It's pretty neat. And that's all the modes. Now, when you do set up this gimbal, you're going to need to balance your phone. So basically, when you're putting your phone in here, you want to make sure that it's lined up all the way on this motor. You'll see a little cushion right here. These clamps, they spread apart. So you're going to open up the clamps, you're going to put your phone all the way in, and then you'll notice that's going to start rocking. Here, I'm going to put it on standby mode. You'll notice that if you put your phone in and it's not balanced, your phone is going to either tilt left or right. So you want to make sure that this is unlocked. You'll pull this up. I don't want to do it right now because I have everything locked in place, but you'll pull this lever up, and then you'll move this arm left or right depending on which way it's going to fall. So if it's falling this way, you're going to want to push it to the left. If it's falling this way, you're going to want to push it to the right. Just make sure that you're getting it centered, and then it should be able to just stay right here, right? It's not going to move anywhere. And then as far as this goes, you can push this more upwards, and then it's going to hold your phone in place no matter where you place it. It's not going to be falling all over the place. So you want to make sure that your phone, you do have to balance this one. There are some other gimbals that you don't have to balance. You just put your phone in, and you press the on button, and then it just balances it for you. But like I said, those ones don't have the carrying capacity that this one does. So you want to make sure that this is balanced and correct, and make sure that all your stuff is locked and unlocked. So when you do mount this phone, you're gonna have this unlocked. Once it's balanced, then you go ahead and push it down and lock it. But you wanna make sure that this one, the pan axis, is unlocked, or else the gimbal isn't gonna work. It's gonna show you a message that says unlock your pan axis, and so you wanna make sure that that is unlocked so that this motor can spin. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back on. All right. And obviously with all of these gimbals, they're gonna come with a joystick. The joystick is basically, you can just move the gimbal without having to move it in your hand to follow. And the cool thing about this, so I'm gonna leave it right here. There's a trigger on the back. If you double tap that trigger, it's gonna bring it back center. So you don't have to worry about your camera getting messed up and trying to move it back in place. You just double tap that trigger and it sends it back to normal. And then, so you have your record button. That's just like, you'll press that and it'll record videos. They have a zoom lever, up and down. Up is zoom in, down is zoom out. That is only gonna work with the Hohem app. So these gimbals all come with their own special app. So you have to download that to be able to use certain features. Now, this one, there are features that you can use on your native camera, but if you want to get the most out of the gimbal, you're going to have to download the Hohem Joy app, and it's going to just have all the stuff that you need in there. So you'll be able to zoom, you'll be able to change the focus. They have different kind of settings in there that you can use, and I'm going to show you guys all of that in a second. Let's go over here to this button. So this has a couple different features. This it says focus. So in the app, if it's on focus, you can use this and change the focus of your video. If you go ahead and double tap that, it'll change to the roll axis. Now this is pretty cool. So if you're in, for example, you're in pan follow, you can actually manipulate what angle your video is going to shoot at. So I'm using the roll axis, and it'll tilt only 45 degrees, but it'll tilt 45 degrees either way. So if you want a super tense video experience, use this roll feature and then take a video like this, and it'll just make the video look more tense. It looks like something is happening, you know what I mean? And again, if you want to go back to normal, you'll double tap the trigger on the back and it'll bring it back to center. But there's also different modes that you can do. So if you triple tap this mode, you'll see these little lights settings. So that's what's cool about this gimbal. So I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to flip this around. Do you see this little thing up here? If you hold this button, it's going to turn on a fill light for you, and you can change the brightness of the fill light. That's what these are for. So you'll just one tap. Here it's at 100%. You can turn it down and it'll make the light less bright. And then if you one tap, you'll have the heat of the light. So you can change it down to, like, it'll be more of a fluorescent light. If you turn it up, it's going to be more of a LED white light. But that's not all. So right here it has that it's on, and it's just a regular white. But if you triple tap it again, it sends it into RGB mode, which is pretty crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this up all the way just so you guys can see. And I'll go ahead and tap it again so I can change the color. So right now it is in like a pinkish color, but you can pretty much change it to all the colors of the rainbow. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's changing from blue, green, yellow, red, pink, basically all the colors of the rainbow, which is pretty awesome. And if you ever want to turn that off, you'll just hold this button over here, and now it's turned off. So that's what's pretty cool about this one, is it comes with this. If you get the kit, it'll come with this fill light, and it's magnetic, so you can just take it off if you want to base it, I don't know, if you want to use it as a selfie, you can just turn it around and place it back on the magnet, and then it's facing you. If you want to face it outwards, there, it's facing you. But that's not all. So you guys see this switch over here that says on and off. Go ahead and turn that on. This is crazy. Alright, so it blinks twice, that means it's on. So I'm going to step back a little bit. If you use this, here I'm going to show you over here so it doesn't track. If you use this symbol while you're looking at it, it's going to track you because it has AI tracking. So go ahead and throw that. And now it's tracking everywhere that I go. How insane is that? And if you ever want it to stop, you just hold the stop button, the stop motion, and it stops tracking you. If you ever want to continue, you throw this up and it starts tracking you again. That is insane. And it's all part of this camera. You don't even have to, most of the time with these gimbals, you have to use the app to be able to use a feature like that. This one, you can use it on your native camera because it's all in here, which is insane. You don't have to use an app. You can just use your camera that comes with your phone, and this will track you. All right, y'all, so I have a recording. It's not following me just yet. You guys can see that I'm going out of the camera, but now, as soon as I turn that on, it's gonna be tracking me the whole way. Even if I turn around and I start walking this way, it's still gonna follow me, which is insane. And I even tested this with my friend. So I was walking around my kitchen the other day, and I was walking around him, and his face was even in frame, but it was tracking me the whole time. Even though it's all his face, I was the one that did this kind of symbol, and it was following me the whole way. Now if I ever want it to stop, I'm just gonna hold my hand up, it'll stop following me, and now you can see that I can walk around the room. It's not gonna follow me the whole time. I'll go ahead and click that back on, and now it's following me again. And you can even stop the frame and put yourself where you want to be in the camera. So if I hold this, it's going to stop the frame. I can move in the frame where I want it to be, and I'll use this to continue, and then it'll follow me and try to keep me in that frame that I want it set at. So I'm probably all the way to the edge of the camera, so now it's following me. If I want to go back to the center, I'll hold this symbol up again. I'll move more to the center. I'll throw it up again, and then now it's going to follow me in that frame, which is pretty awesome. Like I said, there's nothing like this setup anywhere besides this gimbal, so that's why I went with this one. I just thought it was super insane, and I had to get something like this. I don't know what I'm going to use this for. Maybe if I'm talking to you guys and I'm walking around the room trying to explain stuff, I can use it. I actually used it on a couple of my cuts. I have tutorials coming up. I've used them on a couple cuts, and it tracked my people for me, so I didn't have to do it in post-production. I could just set this up, I had them do this symbol, and it followed their head as I was cutting, so I didn't have to worry about them not being in frame while I was cutting their hair, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, if you get the kit, and they did have a sale, so I got all of this, everything, the microphone, the AI tracking, and the gimbal for I want to say it was around, in total it was probably $200 because the microphone was also on sale, but you had to bundle it in there. So like the gimbal itself with the AI tracking was about $156, and then the microphone was about 50 something, so it was around $200 and some change, which isn't bad for something like this. You're getting all this technology. You get the gimbal that holds this many grams of weight, which is insane. You'll get a microphone that you can just plug up to your phone and use as a Bluetooth microphone, which is insane. And then you get AI tracking, you get this super impressive gimbal that has all these different modes and features, and the app. The app is pretty crazy too with the stuff they have in there. And then you guys can decide if you want to get a gimbal like this, or if you want to go a little bit cheaper out, that's also okay too. I just think that having a gimbal is great for any type of content. Now, if we're talking about barbering, it's great for getting cinematics of people's haircuts. It's gonna look super smooth. It's gonna look really clean, super professional, and people are gonna wanna watch it because of how smooth it is. And then also, you can use your gimbal, like I said, for doing different product reviews. So if you are sponsored or not, if you have a different product that you wanna show everybody, and you want to get some good detailed video, a gimbal is going to make sure that it's the most detailed possible. You're not going to have any jitters, your phone's not going to be moving in your hand, and it's just going to look super clean. And then hypothetically, if a brand does see your video and they really like that video, maybe they'll ask you to use that video in a promo that they're doing. They'll ask to use your video and post it and share it, and then that's the publicity for you. That's kind of putting yourself out there, and then people's like, oh, who took this video? Oh, you did. You took this video, Babblis, or whoever you're working with, whoever you want to work with, and they see it, and then it blows up. So this is just trying to get you guys the best kind of videos so that it can be like a stepping stone for you to get even more opportunities later on. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. That's one of the main selling features that I wanted to, like, that's why I wanted to get this, because the kit included this AI tracking, and there's no other gimbal that has that. They have it in the app, and this one even has it in the app, but no other gimbal has that has a light on it and AI tracking. So it was a no-brainer for me, dude. I had to get this one. Alright, so I kind of want to show you guys the difference between getting cinematic shots for different products with your phone, just using your phone in your hand, versus like with the gimbal. So this is just using my phone in my hand, and I'm just going to get a quick cinematic of this chair. Now this is with the gimbal in my hand, so I'm going to get another cinematic using the gimbal, and you're going to see that it's just way more smooth. So that's kind of going to be the difference between how steady you can get video with the gimbal versus just using your phone. It's a huge difference, especially if you're getting super far cinematics, like my video where I did cinematics around downtown Cary Park. If you just try to get some of those shots just holding your phone, most of the time they're not going to be as smooth, they're not going to be as steady, and they're going to be a little bit shaky. But with a gimbal, it's going to hold your phone in the exact place that you want it, and any kind of like little movement that you do, the gimbal is going to counteract that with the motors. So it's going to make sure that it's extra smooth. Let me go ahead and show you guys the app, some of the features, and then I'll wrap up this video. Forgot to show you guys how you can easily calibrate this thing. So they have a setting in the app where you can go ahead and click calibrate and get that calibrated that way, but you can just do it with your buttons over here. So once you have your phone mounted and balanced, you're going to come to the mode button right here, and you're going to click that 5 times. And now it's going to be in calibrate mode. It's going to be calibrating it so it's exactly straight and exactly level. You hear a beep when it's done, and that means it's done calibrating and you're good to go. Now I want to show you guys a different mode that you can use when you're using this. So if, for example, you want to take cinematics, and if you're using like the wide angle lens, sometimes you'll see this motor in the back. If you want to get rid of that, you'll click the trigger, this trigger right here. You're going to click that 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to put it in wide angle mode. So now this motor that was behind isn't going to be in the way anymore, and you can get those really wide angle shots and nothing's going to be in the way. You're not going to see the motor in the back. If you want to return it back to normal, hit that 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to switch it back to normal mode, which is pretty awesome. And also, if you want to switch camera modes, I know a bunch of the cheaper gimbals don't have this option, so you actually have to turn it all the way and hold your wrist in an uncomfortable position. If you want to have this back camera, your better camera, if you want to have it looking at you, you're going to click the trigger 3 times. 3, and it's going to switch it all the way around. And if you want to go back, just click it 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to switch it back. Now, obviously, you can use the front camera with this, but if you want to use your better camera, that's just the better way of holding it in selfie mode. You'll just hit that trigger 3 times, and it's going to send it all the way back. Now, another cool trick with this gimbal is they have a built-in inception mode. So you're going to click the mode button 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And it's going to put it in inception mode. And now the motor is just going to continuously spin in a 360. So that's how you can get some cool shots. As far as like inception mode shots, it's going to look pretty interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and get some cinematics for you guys using that. Alright, so now I'm going to throw it in inception mode, and you guys are going to see how crazy this looks. So again, tap that mode button 3 times, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to send it into inception mode. We'll get a full rotation out of this, just so you guys can see what that actually looks like. Wait for it to finish up. There we go. And that would be inception mode. And so they do have inception mode in the actual app. So if you don't want to use the pre-installed kind of function that's in the gimbal, they do have that same function in the app. So you can just go in the app, you'll press inception mode, and then it'll do that for you. You don't have to go press the mode button 4 times or 3 times to get it activated. You can do that from the app. Alright y'all, so now I'm in the Hohem Joy app. You can find it in the App Store. You just search in Hohem Joy, and then it'll pop up in there. So you want to make sure that your Bluetooth is on so the app can connect to your gimbal. I have my gimbal turned off right now, so I'm going to go ahead and just go into the app so I can show you guys the different features. So here's your resolution settings. You can set it to 4K and 60. Like I said in my previous video, I always shoot my stuff in 4K 60. I just think it's the cleanest video that you can get. They have different tracking features in here, so you can track people's faces, and you can also track objects. So if you want to track an object, you'll just hold the screen, and then it'll track the object for you. Now, I don't have my gimbal turned on, obviously, so I can't really show you, but the gimbal will follow wherever you put this square. The gimbal will track that, and it'll follow that. So you can move around the room, and if you have it lit up, the gimbal is going to follow wherever this is, so which is pretty cool. If you want to get out of that, you just click the X at the top and then go turn that off, so you're not following stuff anymore. Let's see the different settings. Photo size 16:9. You guys know you have to put it in 16:9. That's what YouTube takes for its thumbnails. Make sure that your stuff is in 16:9 for videoing in YouTube and getting your zoom speed. So that's where you can use this zoom feature on the gimbal. You can only use it in the app. You can use this and it'll zoom in and out for you, which is really nice. You don't have to go touch your phone and try to zoom in. You go to gimbal settings. So they have follow speed. You can change the follow speed. Depending on what you're kind of shooting is what determines what follow speed you want to have it at. If I'm doing cinematics outside and I'm trying to get some good action shots, I'll use it in slow follow speed. So as I'm turning the gimbal, it'll follow slowly, and it's just going to make a smoother transition for you as it's moving from left to right. You can change the joystick speed. You can even invert the joystick. So if you're used to inverting controls, if you don't want to have up as up and down as down, you can actually switch that to where down is up and up is down. and left and right, wherever. You can change that. There's the auto calibration in the app, so you can click that auto calibration and it'll do the same thing that I showed you guys, where you can do it outside of the app. I'm in the camera, the outside camera. There's the filter up here, and you can change beauty settings. So if you go to beauty settings, you click that on, and you can actually slim down yourself and resize yourself, which is pretty weird. I don't see myself using that. I appear to you guys how I appear, and I'm not changing that, so that's just kind of me. And they also have different filters on here, so they have like a grayscale, sepia, sketch setting, which is pretty awesome. And that's all in app. You know, you can just have different filters, which is pretty nice. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. But the real stuff that I want to show you guys in the app is actually these different video settings. So they have a time-lapse setting. Say you want to get a good time-lapse on a cityscape, and you'll have it set however long you want to capture that, and it'll move from point A to point B, which is pretty awesome. So I got a couple of cinematics that look pretty cool, where the what I'm focused on isn't really moving, but then everything around it is moving in super fast motion, which is pretty cool. They got slow motion mode, so if you capture a video in slow motion, it's going to slow it down for you, which is pretty awesome. But here's really what I love about the app is the moment. So they have different kind of video presets in here. So here's the inception mode I was talking about in app. Obviously I showed you, you guys can do that outside of the app just using your native camera. And so you can do that with just the gimbal itself, or you can come into the app and they have the preset inception mode for you. You'll just press it start and it'll put it in inception mode for you. They have time lapse on here. This is the one I love the most, probably, is the dolly zoom. It just looks insane. So you'll have your focus, say for example you have your person in view, and it'll do this on its own. So it'll tell you to start walking backwards, and at the same time that you're walking backwards away from your subject, the camera is zooming in. So it's basically playing a trick on the camera. So it's keeping your person in the same spot by zooming in, but then it's going to bring all the background super zoomed in, and it looks insane. They have this raindrop control mode, so it'll make it look like it's raining, and then I think wherever you move your hand, it's going to stop the water, which is pretty awesome. If you want more of like a rainy scene, this is like an overlay, so it'll overlay the camera with raindrops, which is pretty cool. They have a back to the past, so it'll make it look like an old time film. But that's all the stuff in the app that you can use, which is pretty crazy. That's why, like, I think the app is pretty awesome. If you want to get the most out of the gimbal, you're going to want to download the Hohem Isteady app, so you can use all those different features. But if you're just using your camera, you can use the gimbal in a bunch of different ways. Honestly, to me, having a good gimbal is just going to bring your videotaping into a more professional light with your product videos, with your cinematics. It's going to make everything look way more clean that way, because it's going to steady your camera way better than you can just holding it in your hand. But that's gonna do it for this video. I'm sure there's a bunch of features that I missed that I can go over. If you have any questions, I can definitely answer them. I've been using this gimbal for a good couple weeks now, so I'm pretty familiar with it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment if you want me to answer anything, or if you have any questions about it. If you're thinking about getting the gimbal, they do have a website. It's the Hohem website. You could buy it directly from them, and they usually have a deal on there. So you can get a good little discount and get it for cheaper than you would if you were getting it through like Amazon, for example. I got it way cheaper than it was going to be on Amazon. If you could, leave a like, drop a comment. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help support the channel. It is completely free to subscribe, so why wouldn't you do that anyway? But anyways, it's your boy Pico.Blurred, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.